Hi there, it's Karen at Corrie Paper Crafts here. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in central Scotland, and as you may have seen in my last video, little Corrie is joining me again because somebody was asking why she's in my photos but not in my videos, so I'm filming a few videos with her in the corner. So today's project is this one. It's an envelope punch board project. It's another one of my fond farewell projects because not only are we saying goodbye to the designer series paper that I've used here and the twine, but we're actually also saying goodbye to the envelope punch board as well. So I'm making a few projects where I'm using some of the things that we are saying goodbye to because they're retiring, and I want to make use of some of the things that I've got and start showcasing some of the retiring stuff that we are going to be saying goodbye to. So this little box here holds 3 Lindor chocolates, and without blethering anymore, I'm going to get on and show you how I made it. So I'll pop this up beside Corrie and I'll bring in my other piece of paper. This suite is the Nature's Poem suite to the designer series paper. It's a 12 by 12 set of papers, and this is in the 2018 to 19 outgoing annual catalogue, and it isn't carrying over, it is retiring. So you need a piece which measures, now I normally work in inches, but the envelope punch board uses centimetres and millimetres. So this piece of paper measures 15.3 centimetres by 15.3 centimetres, and you're going to make a couple of score lines in it. So if I just grab my envelope punch board, which I can see needs a bit of a clean, and take my little stylus out of the side. You want to pop your paper in, doesn't really matter which side goes in because it's all square anyway, and you want to do your first punch and score at 3.3 centimetres. So I'm not using the inches along the top here, I don't know if you can see, I'm going to use the centimetre marks along here, which aren't quite so easy to see. So I want to make my first punch and score at 3.3 centimetres, and apologies if I wobble the tripod and make a bit of a noise. So you want to punch and score, and then before you move it round you want to do a second score, punch and score at 7.9 centimetres. So move it along to 7.9. Give it a punch and a score, and that's all the measuring you really need to do, because as you go round now you're actually going to use this little pointer here to line up with your score lines to punch the rest. Score guide is written on here. So what you want to do, and I don't know if you can see this, is I'm lining the score guide up with this. Let me stand up and see if you can see it with the light. I'm not sure if you can see it or not. This score line here, I'm lining this up with it, and that's all you do all the way around to make the rest of your box. So lining it up with the first one, punch and score, and again remember we punched and scored twice, so lining it up with the second score line here, I'm not sure if you can see it or not, you want to punch and and score, and just keep going round until you've lined them up with on all 4 sides. So punch and score, having lined up the score guide, again line up the score guide with this score line here, punch and score, and the last side line it up, punch and score, and line it up with the last line, punch and score, and that's all the punching and scoring done. So what I want to do now is turn my envelope punch board round, sorry Corrie, and just round the corners, because on this side of the punch board you've got a corner rounder too, and that's all we need the punch board for, so I'm going to put that away out of the way just now. And then all we need to do for the time being is fold and burnish on all our score lines, and there are 2 on each side, so you have quite a grid by the time you're finished. So just fold and burnish all the way around. Now you can see you've got 2 small ends and 2 bigger ends, so you want the box to be this way round, so you want the larger triangles to be top and bottom and the smaller triangles to be left and right, as it were. So the cutting that we need to do, if I can find my paper snips, is, if you can see where these folds are, on either side of these large flaps we're going to cut down just till we meet that next score line here, and the same on the other side. So a straight line down here and a straight line down here, and I'm just going to take a little wedge out of here, oops, and a little wedge out of here just to get rid of that pointy bit and to make sure that it doesn't overlap when I close the box. So turn it round 180 degrees and do exactly the same again. Cut down here and cut a wedge, and cut down here and wedge, and then once you've finished it should look like this. And then all we're going to do to put the box together is stick those flaps to the inside of the box. However, if you've noticed already, when it comes to joining the top together, these are too big. You can cut them if you want, but I don't want to cut them for my box. I just want to make sure that they fold round the box like this here, and inside you'll see when I put this one together that flaps folds in as well. So what you want to do is fold this over and fold that flap back and turn it round so that this is facing, and then all I did was with my paper folder along that folded edge I just put a score mark, and then I did the same again, folded this over, folded that flap back, turned it round, oh I've done the same side again, fold that one over, it's because I turned it round and then turned it round again, fold that flap back and put a score line down here. And then all I did was folded it in and gave it a burnish, folded this one in and gave it a burnish, and then what you'll find when you put the box together now, if I wasn't all fingers and thumbs, that will fold in there and that will fold over there, and your box will close perfectly, but you don't have any straight edges. And I quite like the fact that it's got a little flap down the front here. I just like the way it looks. So to stick the box together, I want to turn it over and add some tape onto these 4 flaps here. So I'm going to use my tear and tape, and I'm going to add a little bit of tape to here, and again grab my ruler and just add another little bit on there, and the same on here, and just do that on all 4 tabs, and this helps it to close and stay closed without the flaps coming loose. So another piece of tape on the fold on this flap, doesn't have to be exact, and one last flap piece of tape along here, tear that off. Oh, and someone's chapped the door. Excuse me, 2 minutes till I pause the video. And I'm back. I'm sorry about that. We're having a new Hoover delivered and he arrived early. I've done a couple of videos today and honestly I think there's a conspiracy against me today because I've had to stop and start a few times, so I do apologise for that. So we had just put our tape on our flaps. Oh, I'm out of breath running down and back up the stairs again. On our little flaps to stick our box together, and that's really all we need to do. So if I can grab my, oops, paper piercer, I'm jagging my finger in the process. Now this is overlapping a little bit, so I'm just going to fold that back on itself. And this one's overlapping a little bit too, so I'll just pop that back in there. Take off all these bits of backing. There we are. And what I want to do with my box, I don't know why I turned it round there, I just did. I want to fold this over and join this straight edge here to this folded edge here to put my box together, and I'm just going to do that on all 4 corners. That's it. And this one here. Oops. Pop that together. And oops, no. Don't stick together yet. Oh. It's the day for it today. And that one there, and that's got our box. And as I say, this is going to fold over here and this is going to fold over here. Now what I did want to say is sometimes they don't match up perfectly, so if you just turn the box round, pop that flap in and that flap over, it will fit one way or the other. So all that needs to be done is pop in my 3 Lindor chocolates. 1, 2 and oops, 3. You just have to manoeuvre them around a little bit because of the cellophane wrapping on them. It does fit 3. So pop the flap in and pop that over. And what I want to do is just pop a little glue dot on this flap so that it holds it down and it makes it a little bit easier to join the bag or the box together. So a glue dot just on the point there. Fold it together. Now because it's DSP, it can move a little bit, so just make sure that it's quite square before you do stick that flap down, and there you go. And then what I want to do then is, now this is my Nature's twine, I think it's called. It's a set of 4 twines, baker's twine, which is really thick. And I'm just wondering, I don't know whether to go with the is it crumb cake? Can't remember now. Shade, or whether to use mint macaron. I think I will, just to shake it up a little bit. So I'll find the end. And what I did with this box here is I wrapped it round 3 times, starting at the top and leaving enough to tie a bow. So just wrap it round 1, 2, 3 times, and I just staggered it a little bit so that you get that spider's leg kind of look on the top. It's probably not a good way to describe it because I don't like spiders, but it just saves it all going round in a straight line. I've just staggered them a little bit and then tie it in a knot. Now I am not fabulous at all at tying knots. So here goes, and judging by the way today has gone so far, anything could happen. What I'm going to do actually is grab my paper piercer and pull that loop through. There we go, without fraying it. That's not too bad, and I'm not going to fiddle about with it too much. And while we're on the subject of paper piercers, paper piercer isn't carrying over into the new catalogue either. But you do have the Take Your Pick tool, which does have a paper piercer part that interchanges with this, because these come out. So there is still a piercing tool. And then back to the box, just manoeuvre the threads around a little bit, not too much. I probably could have tied that a bit tighter actually. It's a little bit loose, but never mind. I'm not gonna mess about with it just now. Cut that tail. I think I'll cut this tail a little bit as well. And then I've already stamped and die cut my sentiment for the front of my box, and that's using the Thank You from the Abstract Impressions stamp set. So I've used this little thank you here. I really like this set. This is also carrying over into the new catalogue, which I'm really pleased about because I've not used it a lot. And this colour here in the design on this paper is Cajun Craze. So I've used my Cajun Craze ink to stamp and die cut this. I've not used this ink at all in a project. This is the first time I've used it. I really haven't used it ever before. So that's the first time that I've used that to stamp, and I cut it out because I can't really fit my big shot on the desk. I'll let you see the Stitched Shapes Framelits dies, which I really like. And again, I used one of the oval shapes to cut it out, the second smallest. Again, a sneak peek, if you saw my last video where I made my gift bag, you have seen this, a sneaky peek of some washi tape that's coming in the new catalogue. So I've already done this before I started filming, and all I need to do is add a couple of dimensionals onto either end of this, peel off the backing and just pop it onto the box, just making sure it's kind of central. And I can move my twine around a little bit as well, and that's my box made. So that's both boxes, both with some chocolates in it. It's a bit of a chocolate theme at the minute, I think, and very simple and easy to make. But as I say, the twine, the paper, and sadly the envelope punch board are all retiring, so if you want to get any of those, then I would certainly get your orders in quickly. Thanks for watching. Even with my hoover being delivered, I'm off to open it and do some hoovering now. Thanks again, take care, bye bye.